Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company.
Global News, 7/13/2017. I'm in the house today with my dear friend and mentor, Mr. Alfred Jackson, former NFL player, entrepreneur, investor, all of those good things that you need to hear about today. Also visiting with us here in our marketing department, Chiquita Tate. Good morning, Miss Chiquita. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. We all standing up today, looking at each other. We get a chance to see each other today. How about that? That's always a good day, right, Alfred? I got to perk him up a little bit, right? Come on, Alfred, you got to get with this. It's just like the NFL day, right? Like your debut in the NFL when you left Texas going to the Atlanta Falcons. Take me back to those days, Alfred.
It's that good, but it's good. It's good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So it's good to be here today. You know, we've had, long talks about, financial stability, investment opportunity, and how we help, minority businesses gain access to capital. So today, Alfred's blessed us to join us to talk a lot about investments and the opportunities and the do's and don'ts and the struggles of companies trying to seek investment dollars. Okay, you got it, Jay? Thing went off. Sorry about that. All right, Alfred Jackson, living in Houston, Texas.
Yes,
You've been here in Houston now for how long?
Lived in Houston now for the last 27, 28 years.
Has been that?
Grew up, it's been that long. Grew up
Caldwell,
in
Texas?
Caldwell, Texas.
I remember your talks about Caldwell, Texas.
Right outside of Bryan Station. Grew up in a little small town, went to school at the University of Texas, lived in Austin for a while.
He said a small town, University of Texas.
Very, well, no, I was talking about the small town. I was talking about the small town that I grew up in, which was, less than 500 people, and still have family live there. But,
okay.
But I'm a Texas boy.
I can actually relate. I'm from a town that about 400 people.
Oh,
less
really?
than 400 people, yeah.
Are you guys from those small towns, really?
One red light.
Yes.
One red light.
Well, we didn't have a red light, but maybe that's part of my issues. We didn't have a red light,
So that's part of your issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Along with many, seriously.
Along with many. Well, you've been a very successful entrepreneur. You know all the struggles as it takes to get in this game of investments, and Alfred, you transitioning from the NFL into those arenas and those doors. I mean, you had good mentorship coming out of University of Texas as well, even on the financial side, right?
That's right. I mean, I think that, exposure is one of the keys to collectively anything you do, discounting what that may or may not be. And, back when my first year at the university, one of the things that happened to us, which was really, really collectively good for all the players that played in my era to some degree, is that we had very, very strong mentors, which from a large degree wasn't because of the fact that the University of Texas at that particular point in time had a great deal of black folks on the campus, because my first year at the university, there was, literally probably, 200 African Americans out of, 45, 50,000 folks. So,
wow.
But at least as it relates to the team, the coach at that particular point in time, because we were collectively at the kind of beginning of integration as it relates to the university, and quite candidly, schools in the Southwest Conference and across the country. And I think that Darryl Roll at that particular point in time felt like, look, he wanted this to be a success. How do I make this a success? And he, basically ended up bringing in 6, 7 African Americans who, by the way, didn't go to the University of Texas, and that was collectively the first part of my exposure and not necessarily understanding, but certainly exposure to other professionals that look like us.
Right, at a large level too.
At a large level.
Large level. University of Texas is not a little school.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And you got to be pretty talented now to get a scholarship to University of Texas as well.
Well, I mean, I was talented. I'm not real for sure about all the rest of the players, but but that's true. That's true. I my senior year we had 12 players who was drafted in the NFL. My claim to fame is the fact is that Earl Campbell was my roommate for 4 years.
Right, that's right. I thought Earl was your roommate. Right.
I carried his water for 4 years. And he still thinks I should carry his water today. Nothing has changed. But we had an era of players that made not only an impact at the university, but an impact in the NFL. But they also transitioned from a broader-based standpoint to other things that kind of defined them and their careers for a lot longer than just graduating playing football for the university, which is the most significant thing, quite candid, I might add.
And the transition phase, is we've talked about this quite a bit. The transition where we had Doc and Damon, the guys back in Dallas, and you've had AD, Antonio Davis, those guys. Coming from the game and trying to transition into businesses, it's a difficult task when you really don't know anything, right? You hadn't been well groomed to understand what that transition really looks like.
I have to tell you is that, and I struggle with this to a large degree, and I know a lot about this because I made a transition for a long period of time, and I'm not real for sure that collegiate athletics in general, colleges in general, give players in general the opportunity to be exposed, and certainly African American players a chance to be exposed. And it's not about just going to the university.
Right.
It's about having the experience of building relationships, having the experience of collectively, at the end of the day, being involved in organizations that matter and that have long-term consequences to them, and you build those relationships that collectively, at the end of the day, give you the ability to engage, interact with people that you went to school with. You have a common bond, and that's not something that's most of the time transferable to players, and certainly African American players. And but fortunately, again, for us, we had that, and we were forced more or less from a broader based standpoint to make a transition because we were a very small group of players, predominantly Anglo team, predominantly obviously large school, if you will, and so that had its challenges, but yet it was transitional from the standpoint of being comfortable with yourself and being comfortable with the fact of being able to interact, just in general.
When you talk about not just the athlete, or the entertainer in the transition phase, going from the sports to business. Like Chiquita, you come from a small town of one life, so you transition into a big city, into business, and not only transition from business, you transition into an entrepreneurial world. That we have all these entrepreneurs now, that things that we work with at Playbook Investors Network. Right. So how was that transition? You transition from corporate America to entrepreneurship.
For me, it's been awesome because it's a life of freedom, total freedom, and the opportunity to expand and grow, and be around people like you who have that experience and have had the history behind it to help someone like me grow in reaching more people and connecting with corporations and just various people out there that are looking to hopefully make more money. I'm looking to make more money, and
now entrepreneur world now it's making money. But it's tough making money sometimes, so hit those pitfalls. Now, that's what we're talking about. We're trying to educate the listeners, you know, the entrepreneurship, when you got struggles.
True.
You know, and your transition from corporate America and from sports into business, you're going to have some real struggles if you don't do the things right and get your processes in place.
Right.
Things we've been talking about for the last 5-6 weeks, you got to get all that straight. So, you know, it's a lot of things that's a roadblock, but you got to prepare for those things so you can get to the next level.
True.
You know. True. But it's been great for you, though, huh?
I mean,
Everybody don't say that, right?
It's not always great.
Right.
It is a challenge, but it is a passion of mine, and I'm dedicated to it. And I believe that if I've been able to make corporate America tons of money, you know, with my skill and my knowledge, why can't I apply that and do that for myself?
Right.
Why can't I try it out?
Right.
So I'm taking this opportunity to go after that.
Now, you came from Cinemark. Is it Cinemark?
Cinemark, and also Interstate Batteries and Sir Speedy Printing and Marketing.
Right. So elaborate a little bit how that was, you know, from Cinemark and
Well,
Speedy.
coming from the, you know, entertainment industry, so working in movies, it was wonderful. It was great, but only African American in the marketing department. Not many, you know.
You were the only one?
Only one.
You're like Alfred a little bit, huh?
Yes. And it's been that way for me.
Y'all can relate to those.
We have something in common.
Yeah. You know, coming from a small town, you know, Mississippi, mainly black, white.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to expand and attend a college where I could be exposed to other cultures.
Okay.
Had a scholarship, you know, opportunities to go to all black schools, but because I had been around just us and the other, I really wanted that opportunity. So I decided to move to Dallas, came out here, thought it was, you know, a beautiful opening to the world, and decided that, you know, I was going to make it
work.
Yeah, I was going to make it work. So working with Cinemark was incredible. It offered me the opportunity to then transition over to Interstate Batteries. Now, that was a little different.
Right.
You know, you're marketing movies, then you're marketing batteries. So, you know, that was a challenge.
That is.
But in that, I decided, you know, I became good at marketing and decided to start my own consulting business.
Now, for the listeners, some people don't even know, Alfred, as you know, they really don't know Cinemark. You know, some people really don't know what Cinemark really is. So
it's a movie chain. Yeah, it's a movie chain, actually. They own movies.
Where you guys go to the movies at?
Yes.
To watch different movies that come out, like Wonder Woman, Spider-Man?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, you know, movie chain.
Wow. And then, Alfred, for you, you know, your transition, you had help along the way as well, coming out of Texas with a lot of your peers.
Well,
I say, well, he had some help, though.
You know, I needed help. You know, it's such a complex issue that collectively, at the end of the day, that we have, that the challenges that we have from background, from relationships, from you know, where you grew up and what you're exposed to. And look, I will say to you that you know, as we were just talking about, coming, you know, from a town of 400, 500 people.
Wow, that's just amazing.
And collectively, you didn't have conversations around the dinner table, you know, about all the professions that were out there.
Right.
So it makes it very difficult for you to collectively know what you want to do when you make that transition from high school to college, because conversations hadn't necessarily been had about it.
So very true.
You know, and so that's the base where you start from to some degree. And again, I mean, you know, I think if you look at our, you know, our counterparts that are out there, that's where they have collectively, you know, for years and years, had those relationships and had those professions that mattered, and so you could have discussions about it that we didn't collectively, at the end of the day, have. And I forgot the question that you asked me. I really did. So
that happens sometimes.
I know, really, all the time with me.
That happens sometimes. So we're here today with Alfred Jackson, Chiquita Tate. We're here at KYND Radio 1520, Penn Global News. Call in at 230-5592, 832-230-5592. As we get farther in the show today with Alfred Jackson, we're going to talk about the investment platform and all the different investments. So join us back here in a few minutes at KYND Radio.
Every Monday at 10 a.m. on KYND 1520 a.m.
We are so excited at KYND to have back the hit show Do What I Say, featuring Dr. Polly Heil-Neely. Doc, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're a holistic healthcare clinic. We do everything holistic at Abundant Health and Wellness Clinic, and that's located at 323 East Main Street in downtown Humble, Texas. Or you can call us 281-312-2860.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on KYND.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith, and I'm a certified spiritual life coach and motivational speaker. But more importantly, I am a wife and a mother. I am so excited to begin the next chapter of my journey, my new radio talk show, The Journey with Tiffany Smith, on KYND 1520 a.m. That's right, tribe. You can tune in every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. starting July 24th. My new show will include conversations about manifesting your dreams, celebrity interviews, and also I've created some new tools to support you in changing your life. If you're ready to change your life, baby, you got to change your mind. Join the journey with Tiffany Smith, and let's talk about it.
Actress, radio host, and mother. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation, the incredible Yolanda Adams. Come on out here, girl.
Welcome back to KYND Radio 1520. 10 Global News. Go out and visit us at www.playbook.investorsnetwork.com. Shouts out to all the fellas back in Dallas, Doc, Dame, LaRonda, Tracy, AD. You guys should be here. You had us to come on down by ourselves last night, so we missed the ride. We missed you guys coming down with us. But shouts out today. We got Alfred Jackson in the house, J Mac. So Alfred's here in the house, representing the investment world, and Chiquita Tate representing the marketing world. So we're just talking about a lot of the transitional things that a lot of entrepreneurs have left corporate America and try to become a minority-owned business and, and scale their companies and grow their businesses. There's a lot of challenges in, really being an entrepreneur as well as being an athlete entertainer and trying to transition into that entrepreneur world to help, get educated on how you gain access to capital. The second half of the show, we're going to really dive deep into the investment world, but, want to continue to talk about some of the things that needs to happen for minority business who are out there listening, struggling on the fence, trying to really figure it out, how far do I really go at this company? What do I do to get to the next level? More importantly, like, why do I really need marketing, to just grow my business? I know I need investment capital, which is something I really, really got to have, but you got to market your company to the investment platform, right?
Of course. You're going to be left behind.
Wow. Yeah.
Completely. I mean, marketing is super important. As we know, the internet is the key.
The internet.
The internet.
We're scared of the internet, right, Alfred?
Nobody's looking at
We're afraid of the internet.
It's okay.
Look at, I'm gonna put Alfred on blast. And I'm not me now. I'm not gonna talk about myself. But all old folks
really?
No, look here. All old folks like Alfred, they're scared of the internet. Are you not? Oh, are you? Okay. All old folks like Alfred, they're afraid of the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, the marketing for businesses is really important for you to market your services and what you do to the people like Alfred Jackson, all these investment platforms. So, Peter, let's expound on the market. What's the importance?
It's super important because you create this logo and your brand, and a lot of people stop there and think, oh, I can print a flyer and maybe talk to a couple of people and I'm okay. But as we know, the younger generation and where we are now, people are turning to social media for advertising, and they want it quick, they want it now, they want to get the information ASAP, so they're on the internet. And if you don't have a presence on the internet, or if you're not marketing your business actively, you're truly missing out on so much. So you got to have the proper marketing collateral in place. So I tell my clients, look, it starts with, what is that logo? What does that logo represent?
The logo, right, for the company.
It's important.
Which represents your brand.
People see that. They see, the Starbucks logo, the Coca-Cola logo. They know what that means.
Right.
And when they see your brand, what does that really represent to the rest of the world?
Right.
Does it really have a true meaning? And a lot of people don't think about that, So I tell them it's important to have that logo, to make sure that the brand is consistent across the board, which means colors. People don't think about that.
Like PN, Global News.
Yes.
Playbook Investors Network,
So
PN.
if the green is that particular PMS green on, your flyer, it needs to be that same PMS green on the shirt.
So corporate America looks at this stuff.
Oh,
Investors look at this stuff. They look at your collateral pieces, right?
Yeah. If it looks, a little shady, they're not going to do business with you. You are your brand. So I tell my clients, look, I do a little image consulting too.
Okay.
So if you walk into a room and you don't look the part, people are not going to do business with you. They don't take you seriously.
You mean I can't walk into business and with some jeans and a
It depends on what you're selling. It depends on what you're selling. So
he digested that right. He got your point. I'm glad he got your point.
Right. But yeah, you have to know you have to be aware of what that brand represents. And you walking around carrying that brand. You are that brand. So people give out their business card, and they don't think twice about that.
Right.
It's a flimsy little card. They don't take advantage of the front and the back advertising.
One thing that I really dislike a lot when we're out there at the trade shows and somebody give you a card, and, when you get a card, you typically will write on that card.
Right.
I hate to get a card and I can't write information on how I met this person,
right? What
this person really does, and I'm like, wow, I really want to go back and visit. I can't write on the card.
I advise my clients don't do what we call UV coating or
photo
glossy, on both sides. They can do it on the front,
sexy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so it may be a very attractive card, but a lot of old school folks like you will write on the back.
Absolutely.
And when that opportunity is not there, people get a little
I'm
frustrated.
just a little younger than Alfred, so I'm okay.
And he's learning how to write.
You don't have to write now, okay. But yeah, it is important to make sure that I consult with my clients about all those aspects of marketing. They don't think about it. You know, they just think, hey, I got a business now. I'm out here, and people are just going to start coming to me. It's like, that's
so now,
not gonna happen.
you're expounding on this and to the listening public. Now, your advice to the listening public and their marketing collaterals is to get it right.
You have to be consistent.
I mean, we got to make sure that we echo these things because these things are very important to the investment community too.
Very true. And if the investor's looking at your collateral and it's not consistent, they're a little hesitant about working with you. Are you going to be consistent in business? Are you going to be consistent in paying me back?
Right.
I mean, that plays a part. So you have to be consistent across the board.
Very important.
Very true.
Important.
Yeah.
I mean, Alfred, you have been on that platform for a number of years as well, and you've seen deals after deals after deals. Did any deals just like come to you and say, "Well, I'm not going to do this because the collateral piece don't look right"?
You mean as it relates to my company, just in general, or just
overall, just a broader base? Yeah.
Look, I mean, there's no question that she's right. I mean. Optically, I mean, you have to walk into the presentation or the meeting or the materials that you said that reflects what the client expectations are as it relates to, to what you're trying to sell. This again goes back to the reason why marketing is important, the reason why branding is important, and it also goes back to the fact is that the reason why exposure is important.
Very true.
Because collectively, at the end of the day, if you don't understand that you're giving your potential relationship and your potential corporate client what they want, and you think it's okay because no one has said to you or marketed to you and to say, no, I think you should maybe change this presentation material.
Yes.
I think that collectively, at the end of the day, this is not the point. Now, which presents a couple problems. A, if you don't necessarily know that, that means to say that maybe you need a little bit more consulting and branding, if you will. And then the other piece is that, man, I just cannot, we all three know this at the table here, tell you how important it is for that branding and that for that marketing to reflect who you're selling to, because it says a lot about you just in general. So the answer to your question, I think, is the fact is that, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I think every time we have sent out information in the past, historically, we have collectively made sure, talked about it. We hired a marketing consultant to make sure that the message that we collectively thought we were getting over, and the message we're getting over, that's right. Yeah,
because all your marketing collateral, out to your investors.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You're putting all your marketing collateral pieces together.
That's exactly right.
To get out to your LP investors.
Yeah, and again, if you don't do that, and if you're unaware of that, then you're probably missing out on an opportunity collectively at the end of the day to create more capital, to create more revenues. But also, you're probably running away business because of the fact is that they don't think that you're bringing the value add to the table, discounting what you're selling. But in actuality, you may have that product, but you don't have the front end of how to reflect that in what you're giving to your potential relationships.
And I'm good. I'm sorry.
Well, and to expound on what you said, there are so many clients that, they have a vision and a mission, but they don't know how to express it. And so they may hire their cousin or friend or somebody to write for them, but is that language truly transferable to, who they're trying to, connect with? And a lot of the time, some of those clients, I have to tell them, no, this is not it. You really need someone to come in and completely edit and do some copywriting for you. You want to make sure everything looks like
now.
What you
So Chiquita, you got to take, I'll play devil's advocate because the listening audience is trying to understand what some of those things mean. So when you speak of copywriting, expound on what that means to the listening public.
Okay, not copywriting like, singing, music, and none of that.
That's what I
Content.
Chiquita sings also now.
Oh, she does?
She sings so. Yeah.
That's great.
But no, your content. So, for example, if you have a website, and you put this beautiful website together and you have all this great content, somebody should have edited this content before it was placed on the website.
That's so true.
Yeah, but if there are errors on the website,
so true.
And if people see that, I have, companies that they view another client's site and they judge it right away, and they're like, wow,
and even, and I won't put corporations, we don't do this on the show, we don't put companies and investors and corporations on blast, but I do recall numerous of times where a corporation saw our website and just saw a misspelled word, and they was like they was tuned out. That was like, it was just a misspelled word.
No. And mistakes happen all the time.
Right.
If you're placing something out to the world.
Or even the email. I mean, we've seen this. Yeah. Even the email came back because you responded to an email, and you just kind of clearly wrote something back. But it was like, oh, my God, did you see what he wrote or she wrote?
And I have this thing about being grammatically correct, mainly because I'm an English minor. But
okay. Well, we lost. Me and Alfred, we out.
But when I'm reading something and I see someone who's super professional, they carry themselves well, but I receive an email and there are tons of grammatical errors, I'm thinking, are they not going to invest in what they represent, their brand? Hire somebody to do that. If you're not a good writer, hire somebody to take care of that.
Okay.
Because it does reflect, and people.
I mean, that's good to know. I mean, because we want, the listening public to know that these things are important.
They matter. And people
Everything
judge
matters.
you. Actually, you got about 7 seconds to prove yourself when you
7
walk into a
seconds.
room. 7 seconds.
Now, this sounds like Doc, when him being a U.S. Olympic track star, right? Doc's like, man, I run for 4 years to prepare for 9 seconds to qualify just to run that event.
Yeah. So
Ain't
when
that
you walk in
amazing?
a room and you say you are X, Y, and Z
Right.
corporation,
7
and
seconds.
people have, read all this great information about you, and you walk in and you look like you just rolled out of bed, it doesn't add up.
Right,
And so they're
right.
thinking, I don't know.
So we got to really clean up some
You got to clean
businesses,
up the
right?
way you speak, the way
Right.
you carry yourself,
Right.
your collateral that you put in front of people,
Absolutely.
your website, your mobile site, like
Now,
so much
we've
stuff.
talked about the websites. Websites are developed, but they don't fit on the mobile app phone.
Yeah, that's
So
important.
those are things we have to change. We've talked about that quite a bit on a number of the shows, that the websites don't match up with your mobile app.
Right.
That fits on the phone. Because most corporations or most investors, if you met me and I'm talking to you about, you invest in our company,
Right.
you pretty much, you're not going to go all the way from here today to go back to your office
Laptop,
to
no.
look at your laptop. Alfred, you're going to pull out your phone and you're going to look at it right on your phone.
Yeah.
And
And
see
if it's off or missing, they're like, well, what's up with that?
Right.
Now they tend to go to LinkedIn, and I tell my clients you should be on LinkedIn. I don't
Now,
care.
is this the corporations or
This is everybody.
Everybody, investor platforms.
It don't
everything?
matter if you own a restaurant.
So you need to work
if
with
you- yes.
this brother here, right?
Very much so.
You need to work with this
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Listen, this brother here, you need to work with.
Yeah.
We're talking about that, right?
Yeah, right.
Some people need
Just
help.
like
Right,
that.
right.
And don't know it.
Hey, J Mac, I'm gonna put Alfred on blast. He need help, brother. He needs
That's
help.
I'm here to help.
That's right.
I'll take
and
care of
and I will accept the help.
He knows I'm going to get him.
Okay, I will accept the help. Seriously.
But putting it on a mobile app is, and that's why we have our companies in PM like Brandex and Wisdom Seed marketing companies, companies that do the websites, do the apps, do the marketing, do the advertising, do the PR, and and our PR company out of Chicago. I mean, those things are important.
They're
All
super
that stuff's
important.
important.
Super
Wow.
important. We all have to work together in order for, that machine to really operate properly. So
Yeah.
if you're not doing that, it's like you might be missing out on, like you said, some great opportunities because
Wow.
your stuff don't look right or don't add up. Or
So Alfred, in the investment world, typically, who looks at the actual, I guess, the deal coming in first? Who actually looks at that? In an investment house, and I know you got people on the desk, of course, but who looks at the actual materials coming into the investment house pretty much first?
Well, so we could rank these things in multiple ways. Let me just start top down with collectively our firm. When I was in the asset management business, the money management business, if you will, we had a marketing department and we had a compliance department that was to some degree combined, but more so than anything else, we had someone, their main focus, which they were not necessarily an investment person, but their main
That's why I asked
focus
that
was,
question, right.
yeah, and I'm hoping I'm trying to
No,
answer
you're doing good. Come on, brother. Come on. Come on out. Jesse, I'm on him, Jay. I'm on him,
appreciate
Jay.
it. I hope I can answer this and get through it. But we had someone that was really responsible for the content and really responsible for just what you just finished saying, is making sure that content from a grammatical standpoint, from a how the information flowed, it made a lot of sense. And by the time collectively it got to the managing partners and the three of us, I mean, we would read, and English is not necessarily my first language, I will tell you, but we would read it very, very carefully, and it was very significantly important that zero ended up going out of our office that we hadn't ultimately, at the end of the day, scrutinized. So what happened is the fact is that now you have a template presentation. You have a template presentation that reflects the mission of the firm, and then you can add in pages depending upon collectively, who you're pitching, what that looks like from an investment process standpoint or whatever else. And it was probably the most significant thing that we collectively, at the end of the day, ended up doing, discounting what the investment returns were because of the fact is that people were going to read the materials first. Now, the last thing I would add is the fact is that if you're in the asset management business, if you're at a brokerage firm, well, there are now compliance and rules and regulations and all this other stuff that is a totally different department, if you will, depending upon how big you are, as it relates to materials that you have to send out, as it relates to, materials that you have to keep from a compliance standpoint, from a FINRA standpoint, from an SEC standpoint, and so it's very much a part, of the investment theme, and in terms of with all these firms discounting what type of firm collectively you come out of. And I will tell you that it's one of the most important things, in the investment arena, because all that information that goes out, you are responsible for it, and you have to be held accountable for it. So it's a very significant piece, discounting collectively, what type of investment shop you came out of. It's very significant.
Right, because it's so, and we're going to talk about that in the second half of the show. It's just so many investment, shots out here that, from the med side, the private equity, the venture capital side, the alternative financing side, which we'll dive off into all that, because I know that that's been your world for the last, I forgot, you got 20 plus something years in
the money management business, in the private equity business, and multiple of asset classes or whatever else. And by the way, I don't want to collectively, go without saying the fact is that, when I first started out in the industry, I was just really getting engaged and understanding all those things. So I'm not collectively, saying that the total package, was there then, but the total package is a lot better now and more refined, because of the fact is that you've been through the wars and been through the collectively, what you need to do in order to get business, raise money, and raise capital, whatever.
So we're going to come back at KYND Radio, PN Global News. We'll return in a few.
From Summerwood to Sunnyside, on the air everywhere. The powerful 1520.
In a world where the divorce rate is at an all-time high, we're here to offer you real-life relationship advice to help you navigate to and through your marriage.
Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Your Love Empowerment Hour with our new show,
Sitting with the Suttons, where we're all about strengthening our community by making marriage great again. Find us on Facebook at Tristan and Cece. Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Your Love Empowerment Hour, Sitting with the Suttons.
Sitting with the Suttons, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. on 1520 KYND.
With me, Zakia Larry of Zakia Larry Live, every Monday at 10 a.m. on KYND 1520 a.m.
We are so excited at KYND to have back the hit show, Do What I Say, featuring Dr. Polly Heil Neely. Doc, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're a holistic healthcare clinic. We do everything holistic at Abundant Health and Wellness Clinic, and that's located at 323 East Main Street in downtown Humble, Texas. Or you can call us 281-312-2860.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on KYND.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith, and I'm a certified spiritual life coach and motivational speaker. But more importantly, I am a wife and a mother. I am so excited to begin the next chapter of my journey, my new radio talk show, The Journey with Tiffany Smith, on KYND 1520 a.m. That's right, tribe. You can tune in every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. starting July 24th. My new show will include conversations about manifesting your dreams, celebrity interviews, and also I've created some new tools to support you in changing your life. If you're ready to change your life, baby, you got to change your mind. Join the journey with Tiffany Smith, and let's talk about it.
Actress, radio host, and mother.
Your kind of radio.
I love this station.
The powerful 1520.
Welcome back to KYND Radio 1520 in Global News. In the house today, Chiquita Tate and Alfred Jackson. Call in at 832-230-5592. Visit us at www.playbook.investorswithanSnetwork.com. It's a pleasure and honor to be in the studio again today, Alfred. Not again, but the first time, Alfred, with you and Chiquita. So it's an honor to have you guys here on the show. And I know it's a busy day for you always, sir. All the things you do and moving around the country and stuff. So we're just glad to have you here to expound on this investment platform and how we can, help change the game.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, Chiquita, we were just talking about, the investment platform, the collateral pieces, and the things that need to happen for presenting to corporations as well as investment platforms and companies like Alfred's company.
Right.
And Alfred, you were just expounding on that investment platform, the most important things that you guys saw, and it's pretty impressive to know that, because I really didn't know this, still learning the investment platform, to know that, the principals at the top level still looks at all these collateral pieces. I just would have assumed that you guys had a group looking at all the collateral pieces, but you guys made sure specifically that you looked at everything prior to it going out.
Oh, absolutely. Look, we live in a world of information today.
Yep.
And there is responsibility with that information that's going out. There is responsibility from the standpoint of collectively what you're representing, what you articulating to potential relationships and clients and existing relationships that you have, what you're representing, and also collectively all the numbers, returns, and data that matter that investors make decisions on. So there are consequences and responsibilities that ultimately at the end of the day go along with that, which probably, I might add, is somewhat a little bit different depending upon the sector and the companies that you might be involved in or you own.
Right.
So I think that the financial services industry, they bear a lot more responsibilities because of the fact is that there are consequences from the standpoint of collectively what you articulate, what you hand out, what you give to the public, if you will, because the public is ultimately at the end of the day making a decision from the standpoint of what the information / your returns, what that looks like, historical track records, and et cetera.
Right. But, and Alfred, we'll get off into that as well, but a lot of, minority businesses in the marketplace today, trying to understand how can they get their companies to the next level. Minority-owned, woman-owned, government, LGBTQ, majority companies, people that have a business that's trying to get their company to the next level don't necessarily really truly understand the public arena.
Yeah, and look, this, and again, my experience reflect a long time I've been in the industry.
Keep telling me your age, man. Long time.
Okay,
long time I've been in the industry. Oh my God.
I've matured in the industry.
He's seasoned.
Yes, seasoned. That's
Give him words. He said English is a problem.
By the way, that's marketing. See, she just convinced me. That's marketing. That's marketing. But look, it goes back to the same theme that we're talking about as it relates to a platform to some degree. Having collectively people with experience that help you take your firm relative, just kind of what the firm is, whether or not it's restaurants or technology or manufacturing, if you will.
Right.
The most significant thing that you can do is have someone with subject matter expertise to help help take your game to another level. And again, it goes back to the same theme that we started out with is, look, I mean, the key to all of this is the accessibility to capital, the utilization of what that capital look like, and bringing in folks and people that have experience in the business to some degree. And, our hurdles will always and continue to be different.
I saw that smile on your face. Now, you said it would always be a struggle.
I said our.
Our.
Okay.
So now, are we talking about just people from small towns or just us in general today?
So don't ask me complex questions, okay?
Yes, I'm trying to kill Alfred on the same day.
Just beat me up. I mean, it's very difficult to create a marketing plan, if you will, on a manufacturing company or a technology company if collectively you haven't necessarily had all the subject expertise in the sector. So that's a different challenge. And then and if you haven't been in that space to some degree, I would suggest that maybe you go to the space that you played in, because I mean experience, expertise, and all that other stuff collectively matter. And look, I mean, when I think about the amount of the companies that we've invested in and the challenges that you have with those companies, discounting whether or not you have expertise or not, it's certainly if you do not come from a space where you understand that, it just makes the challenge a lot more difficult, if you will. And that's quite candidly the reason why Penn is collectively necessary in terms of all the platforms that Penn offer, if you will, that give you the ability to collectively reach out and get subject matter expertise, if you will, in order to help take your game to another level, depending upon what area of expertise you need. And that, by the way, it's okay that you need that area of expertise, because the fact is that we all do.
Right. And that's amazing that you preference it that way, because we know it's a challenge. We all know it's a struggle as an entrepreneur business, and we're trying to grow our businesses. But also pride factor. With the pride factor, it's like, well, I know what I'm doing. I know what I made. I know how to do it. But at the end of the day, do you really know how to go get capital, whether it be from AJ, whether it be from another investment house, whether it be from an alternative financing group, or whether it be the bank? So that doesn't necessarily give you the subject matter expertise to know that you know how to go get capital, which is the biggest thing. Yes, ma'am.
I had a wonderful client, came in and got everything set up for their new business.
Right.
Incredible business, great opportunity, great location. We did all the marketing, and they were in business for less than a year and a half.
Well, now, what type of business was this?
This was in the restaurant.
Restaurant business, okay.
Doing
You
well.
know a little bit about that, don't you, brother?
A little bit.
They were doing okay, but they needed capital and could not get the capital they needed and didn't know where to go.
Now, but let's make sure we put this on the playing field here.
Okay.
They needed capital, right? Didn't know where to go get capital. But now, so let's take it a step further.
Okay. What
type of capital did they need? I mean, like, what was the actual amount of capital? Because I want people to know that sometimes capital means it could be $5,000. It could be $10,000.
Yeah,
it could
I
be
think theirs was
$1 million.
less than $100,000.
Okay, so we're talking about $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
and
they
couldn't
could
get
not get it. And it was devastating to them because they put so much into it, and they could not get this money, and the business went away. And it was like, wow. I mean, we worked so hard to help them, get to this point.
You're talking about $100,000 to,
and
to get your business to the next. which we know because we see this on the ground in every state that we go to with Playbook Investors Network. We've seen so many companies that they may need that 100,000, $500,000, or that $5 or $1 million or $2 million, or in your world, 20, 30, 200 million, right? Because you've seen all those deals, but you still don't know how to go get the capital.
Yeah.
And that's why we built PEN, at Playbook Investors Network, because we understood that most of us have a good business. And you pour everything into your business, but you really still don't know how to go get capital, right? Which is the hardest thing to do as an entrepreneur. Would you agree, Alfred?
I would agree. I would agree.
See, I was on a whole nother level, though.
No, I would agree, but again, this comes back down to the same thing that we were talking about earlier to some degree. Is that, I mean, if you would have asked me 20 years ago, I wouldn't have known how to assess capital.
Right.
But now I've been exposed to how you assess capital, what type of capital that is, what that looks like, depending upon what your needs are, if you will. And so now and that's where we are to some degree, where we are, as a community to some degree, is that, okay, I have a business that I need $100,000. There are certainly banks, other places that are offering, that $100,000 that's out there. How do I make sure collectively, my house is kind of in order?
In order,
that reflects the financials. Again, one of the things that PEN brings to the table is that, the financial component of it to some degree. I feel like that I'm playing for something.
Listen, I'm impressed.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm impressed.
I'm not sure why I'm doing this or whatever.
Because this is not something he really does.
I'm just feeling compelled right now. But anyway, exactly. But it's very necessary to understand how long do you think that you're going to need the capital, what's going to be the cost of that capital, and not suggest that I know I need $100,000. Well, you may need more than $100,000, and you may need to add other employees to your company. You meet and collectively that, and what will always happen is the fact is that something will come up that takes you to some degree out of your model. So you need to have an expectation that collectively at the end of the day that I'm going to allocate that 5 to 10% for something that may happen that you don't necessarily expect. It's just the reality of the world we live in.
Wow. We're here at PN Global News. We're here with Chiquita Tate and Alfred Jackson at KYND Radio 1520. Phone number 832-230-5592. Rodney Woods at PN Global News, Alfred Jackson, and Chiquita. We want to thank you so much for joining us today on the first half of the show. And
pleasure.
We're going to have you back here in a whole marketing segment to make sure that people understand.
Get them right. We're going to get them right.
Right. We got to make sure they know why they need this marketing.
Yes.
Let's get this right. Let's turn the game around. Let's change the landscape. PN Global News, KYND Radio 1520.
Boy E.T. Listen to me. Everybody want to be a beast until it's time to do what real beasts do. So do me a favor. Start every day, if you want to go to beast mode, by listening to the kind of talk that inspires change right here on KYND Radio.
Attention churches and...
We are so excited at KYND to have back the hit show Do What I Say, featuring Dr. Polly Heil Neely. Doc, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're a holistic healthcare clinic. We do everything holistic at Abundant Health and Wellness Clinic, and that's located at 323 East Main Street in downtown Humble, Texas. Or you can call us 281-312-2860.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on KYND.
Hi, Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith, and I'm a certified spiritual life coach and motivational speaker. But more importantly, I am a wife and a mother. I am so excited to begin the next chapter of my journey, my new radio talk show, The Journey with Tiffany Smith, on KYND 1520 AM. That's right, tribe. You can tune in every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. starting July 24th. My new show will include conversations about manifesting your dreams, celebrity interviews, and also I've created some new tools to support you in changing your life. If you're ready to change your life, baby, you got to change your mind. Join the journey with Tiffany Smith, and let's talk about it.
Actress, radio host, and mother. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation, the incredible Yolanda Adams. Come on out there, girl. Let's talk about the KYD radio launch and all that.
Yes,
Let's talk about it.
radio launch next week, July 6th. We are on live. Myself.
Come on now.
Marcus D. Wiley and AV. We are back together. Full force. We are so excited. Can I tell you how excited we are about being at KYND? I mean, look at y'all. Look at y'all. Yeah. This right here is like amazing. Yeah.
Hi, this is Nicole R. Coleman, host of the new show, Super Bold Live. Each week, I will feature real people just like you that have stepped out on faith, overcome fear, and made bold moves that transform.
To Penn Global News, KYND Radio 1520. 832-230-5592 is the phone number to KYND Radio. Feel like you got a question and you want to ask a question to Chiquita Tate or Alfred Jackson or Rodney Woods, please call us at 832-230-5592. Alfred should be coming back in a second. He went out there to take a quick break. You know, I told him he's a little old.
It's
so
okay.
I told Jesse I was going to wear Alfred out today. You know, I had to pull a lot of things out.
Uh-oh.
Is he coming back in yet? Is he here? Okay, he's coming back in. we won't talk about him as bad as we were talking about him while he was away.
No, we can't talk about Alfred bad.
I've done it before. That's okay.
No, we're not that tight. We're gonna talk about you when you're right here with us, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate
We're gonna keep you right here posted up with us.
Keep it 100, huh?
Yeah, right.
You know, I think it's so great that we're all sitting here together. It just makes it flow a lot better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I really do. I mean, exactly. So anyway, go ahead.
Hey, Jesse, I think see, Jesse's in Vegas today, Alfred.
Jesse
McRae.
Oh, he is.
He's in Vegas today, and he's
hello, Jesse.
Yeah, he's.
What's up, Jesse?
You know Jesse?
Yeah. She's part of the team, Alfred.
Jesse has his challenges too.
But again, you know, we're here at KYND Radio 1520 Penn Global News, and you know, definitely always the shout outs to our team. You know, from Tracy, T-Max in Orlando today. Hopefully, he'll be here next week. I believe on the show. He was thinking the show was going to be at 2 p.m., but Tracy McGrady should be here next week from 10 to 12, and it should be Tracy McGrady and myself and Antonio Davis, and I think we have Bernard Harris possibly coming in, the astronaut, coming in next week. And Alfred should be definitely joining us on a lot of shows, especially as we continue to talk about our investment platform and the do's and don'ts, and how do you actually get to the next level, and the mistakes. You know, we all have made mistakes, you know, getting to that next level. And, you know, some things look really, really good, and some things aren't good, you know, but you do need to have that subject matter expert, you know, a part of your team. You know, and the challenges that we have, and I'll say we, as minority businesses, you know, we don't want to pay for stuff. That's a tough thing. We don't really want to pay for the services, and we understand that it's tough, but, you know, you have to work with that subject matter expert, or that particular marketing firm or advertising firm or PR firm or website or app company to make sure that you get your stuff. You know, you want this right because you are trying to do one thing.
Yes.
Is make money, right? Feed your family.
Yes.
You know, build a legacy. Pass this on to our kids if they want, because AJ, your son is in the business, right?
That's right. So that means to say, that's right. That means to say when I send you guys my fee and my bill for being here, I won't.
You don't want to hear anything.
I will remind you what you just finished saying about oh, you're right. Exactly.
Yeah, you said a fee. I got a tab already, so I'm good. I got to see. I'm gonna come back with something. I got a tab already, so I'm good.
Just thought I mentioned. Hey,
but no, I mean, it's just we're here for a reason, and that reason is to educate the communities. People who really are in business, trying to scale the business and grow the business, because it's two things. Alfred, Chiquita, that businesses are looking for two opportunities, and that opportunity is the big O. One, you're trying to get a contract with a major corporation or a tier 1 supplier or a tier 2 supplier. Or if you have a business and you're operating that business and you're trying to get to the next level, it's just like you said, even $100,000, you're trying to gain access to capital.
Right.
And that's why for the last 8 years with, Tracy and, God bless Henry, who's passed on the last 2 weeks ago. Alfred Jackson knows Henry very well, who was very instrumental, gave me my first money and believed in what we were building at Penn, at Playbook, to grow this thing, to educate suppliers on how to gain access to capital. But, education first, getting everybody set up, getting them, process, in place to gain access to capital. But capital is an important need for any business, no matter who you are, no matter what designation you have as a minority supplier or woman-owned business or government business or which is what government is 7A, 8A, 504, disadvantaged, hub zone businesses, your LGBTQ business or your majority business. You still need to gain access to capital.
Can I go back to what Alfred said a little while ago about, how we kind of grew up sitting around the table? We didn't have those conversations because no one in our family had that experience and that knowledge.
Right.
So we didn't know what we didn't know.
Right.
And now that we've been exposed and we know we have this knowledge, especially with Penn, I mean, it's been incredible being able to come into a situation where the knowledge is sitting right here in front of you. And like you said, there are subject matter experts willing to reach out and help you, inform you.
Right.
And I tell my clients all the time, stay in your lane. If you're not good in this area, don't try to do that.
Right.
It's going to cost you a lot of money,
Everything costs.
Yeah, everything costs.
Everything
so
costs.
It's super important to, gain that knowledge, and Penn can surely help you in that area.
Yeah, and Kita, I mean, for the listening audience, Penn is still in short for Playbook Investors with an S Network, PlaybookinvestorsNetwork.com. But it wasn't about us. It wasn't about, it was about me, it was about Tracy, it was about AD, or Dr. Dame, or Alfred, or Chiquita. It was about a collaborative team of subject matter experts who came together and said, hey, we want to do something that's going to impact the communities that we live in, reside in, and travel through.
Right.
We talked about this quite a bit, Alfred, and you've been in this game a long time, owning a lot of different businesses and owning a steel plant and everything. These manufacturing plants are outside our doors. Mm-hmm. That we have no clue who really owns them or how we can get in the game to own them ourselves.
Right.
And if we're not talking to people like Alfred to understand what that need is, how do we actually access that capital?
Right.
And others, to understand what that means, that we now can turn around and own a manufacturing plant or a steel plant or plant that's making these microphones, or making the LED lights, or making the tire and wheel assembly on every vehicle that you drive.
Right.
Every vehicle you drive needs 4 wheels and a spare tire, which is a tire and wheel assembly. And it goes on and on and on. But the capital play, it's just a thing that you have to understand, and getting all your back office straight, your HR, your PR, your marketing, your advertising, and so on and so forth. You got to get those things right.
Right.
And Keith, you make valid points about that, and that's why Penn was built. That's why we wanted to do something that everybody wins, because we wanted the business community to win, because, one, the business community is looking for capital to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. And investors, in your case, Alfred, you guys are looking for deal flow. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I mean, that's just what it is. Investors are looking to invest money into deals that they know that they can get a return on. Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead and just elaborate what that really means to most investors?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think that it's collectively important to, and again, I know I'm going back to Penn again, and the significance of Penn, because if you collectively, at the end of the day, do not know how to assess that capital. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. If there are other areas financially from a planning standpoint that collectively you may need as a up and going operations, is significantly for you to reach out to have a relationship with with Penn or someone like that in order for you to gain that knowledge, because it would save you a lot of collectively money. And the last thing I would say is that there is this is the kind of last frontier for us collectively in the community that we haven't had that accessibility to capital. And it's the number one issue with minority-owned firms, be it across the board, what category you want to put that, minority-owned firms in to some degree, is the accessibility to capital. How do you get that capital? What does it look like? And what does it mean from a broader-based standpoint? Because, again, I mean, the majority of us collectively, and one of the things that we talk about all the time is the fact is that, especially from, and I'm all across the board here, is from just a younger standpoint, kids should have more accessibility to understanding, financially kind of what's out there, the market as a whole, what that looks like, stocks, bonds, and I'm not suggesting you have to start that when you're 6 or 7, but being exposed to that, so you get a chance to ask questions about what are stocks, what are bonds, I mean, what are interest rates, what does that mean, how does that affect me, and then it gives you a intellectual expansion of questions that you can ask, and it gives you the accessibility to the world that you will grow up and live in, I mean, especially in the global world that we live in to some degree, and what that means, and the accessibility to capital just in general.
Yeah, I mean, and Alfred, we echo that, because, for the younger kids, and just kind of digressing just from the business community right now, but for those business community who have kids, let's put it like that, who may be successors of the business, they need to understand those type of things too, because, I mean, I think we all agree that we all have, children that's growing up, in this society today, but don't really understand what it means to be the successor of your company, or your company, Chiquita, or my company. So we have to make sure that they have this Q&A in them, and understanding what some of this means, because this is totally, and it is, and it's going to continue to be, an entrepreneurial society. Right. This is not a society where our kids are going to go to corporate America and work at that job for, 20, 30 years and retire. And I know the fellas hear me say, and get that watch.
Exactly.
Get that platinum watch, right?
Exactly.
Well, it used to be a gold watch. Hold on. It used to be the gold watch. Because I remember my father retired from State Stove Industries as a truck driver, #1 in his company, 35 years. Man, when he got that gold watch that had the truck on it, the truck, I know my brothers and sisters know what I'm talking about. Dad got that watch, and it had State Stove Industries with a truck on that watch. Man, that was the baddest thing. I thought my dad, got $10 million.
Wow.
Yeah. But that was, that was your going away present for being here and putting 35 years into the service and driving across the country to make a living for his family.
That company make millions and millions of dollars.
We did not understand what that meant. Because I'm telling you, as a kid, I didn't know what it meant. I had no idea. And I still didn't know what it meant, Alfred, until I got into corporate America and, around the peers of mine, the athletic entertainers who, deals were thrown at them. And you like, what is this? But, driving a truck for 35 years and just retiring and getting a watch, and not really understanding. And they really didn't understand finance either, because my parents weren't able to teach me finance. I had to learn finance OJT. With a gentleman, I think I told you plenty of times, I told you, Chiquita, with Kerry Claiborne, who took me around the country on his back, when he was a principal at Alliance Bernstein. And I just went to meetings after meetings after meetings, capital update meetings, market update meetings, and I'm like, what is this?
But you were doing exactly what Alfred said. You were being exposed.
Yeah,
so we have
I was hungry. Alfred
Yeah.
just had it because he was a star athlete at Texas.
But I agree with that.
That is all right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I was just trying. I was, I wasn't really the star athlete that Alfred was. I was playing my basketball thing, but Alfred doing his NFL thing.
Be true to yourself. So, but and to really piggyback off of what you're saying is that growing up with a lot of brothers and sisters, conversations were not had at the table. Conversations, and because my parents didn't necessarily know. But fast forward the story to the University of Texas to some degree. It was probably my sophomore year in college that I started to be exposed to a world that I didn't really necessarily know that existed, and that's because of
what kind of world was that, Alfred?
We're strictly staying in finance, and I thought that was the
what kind of world was that?
I thought that was the topic of the day. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're good.
But you're waking me up now. But so I never will forget my sophomore year in college. One of my really good friends who's still good friends to me today. I used to go to his parents' house, and his dad was in the financial services arena, and I used to continue to hang out with them for a long period of time, and that's collectively at the end of the day when I first took my first peek into what are stocks, what are bonds. I thought stocks were cattle. I thought bonds were bail bondsmen. I mean, but I'm literally
now
saying
we do understand that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I literally, and that's very very true. But my point is that when I started to hear about all that, and there were conversations around it all the time, that's when collectively I started, being a lot more interested in what does this look like as I continue to progress at UT with mentors and everything else. Well, after my senior year, my friend, he said, why don't you come over to the firm and work during the summer? I mean, we're collectively us, and so I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And that was then really my exposure and sponsorship into the business, and because they were a relationship, because I had not a clue. Okay. And I say that in a very, very real way. I had not a clue about, this sector, this industry, this business, and that was my introduction into the industry that now I've been in for 25 years in one segment or another, and it didn't come because of the fact that number one, I had conversations at the table. It came because of the relationship that I had, because of the exposure that I had, and the ability to ultimately, at the end of the day, build those relationships that were in that sector. Yes. And the last thing I would say is that it's the same thing about the capital component. The capital component and what that capital component looked like came a little later, if you will, because of the fact is that there is so many broader-based themes of the financial services industry that we have not necessarily been exposed to. And I'm not real for sure whether or not I answered your point or not.
No. But I want you to stay there because, what I really want to dive into, Alfred, is basically understanding how do you really get into this investment world, because, you've been in that world for a long time. You've had, various businesses. You've had your own firms and everything. And we know it's do's and don'ts and it's mistakes and stuff. But for the actual entrepreneur out there in the marketplace today who's really trying to gain access to capital, we want to talk about that when we come back on the break, about how does the entrepreneur gain access to capital. KYND Radio, 1520, PN Global News.
You're listening to the powerful 1520.
Texas middle school students did not perform as well on state standardized tests this year as they did last year, concerning some education policy experts. With the news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg on 1520 KYND. The percentage of students who passed the STAR test this spring was lower in all subjects except for math. Some say an inconsistent school accountability system contributes to the lackluster scores. A judge has doubled the bond amounts for 2 women accused of helping smuggle a dozen people into the U.S. who were found in a locked hot trunk in Houston. The judge raised each woman's bond to $600,000 after Harris County prosecutors say 21-year-old Priscilla Beltran and 26-year-old Adela Alvarez were flight risks.
Hi, this is Nicole R. Coleman, host of the news show Super Bold Live. Each week, I will feature real people just like you that have stepped out on faith, overcome fear, and made bold moves that transform their lives. We are creating a community of game changers. Listen in each week and let's help you unleash the power within. Bold talk, bold impact, bold transformation. Be sure to connect with me at www.livesuperbold.com.
Super Bowl Live with Nicole R. Coleman. Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. on 1520 KYND.
In a world where the divorce rate is at an all-time high, we're here to offer you real-life relationship advice to help you navigate to and through your marriage.
Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Your Love Empowerment Hour with our new show,
Sitting with the Suttons, where we're all about strengthening our community by making marriage great again. Find us on Facebook at Tristan and Cece. Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for Your Love Empowerment Hour, Sitting with the Suttons.
Sitting with the Suttons. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. on 1520 KYND.
Elevate your week with me, Zakia Larry of Zakia Larry Live, every Monday at 10 a.m. on KYND 1520 a.m.
We are so excited at KYND to have back the hit show Do What I Say.
Angleton to Austin. On the air everywhere. Everywhere. The powerful 1520.
Welcome back to KYND Radio 1520 in Global News. Call us at 832-230-5592. That's at 832-230-5592 at KYND Radio PN Global News. Visit us at www.playbookinvestorsnetwork.com. What's that website?
Playbook Investors with an S. Network.com.
I ain't gonna.
That was good.
I was gonna get Alfred to do it, but give us a plug.
I can't.
No.
How about that?
All right. Viewers at PlaybookInvestorsNetwork.com. We were just talking when we left the show, and we were talking after the show, but we want to kind of dive back in. We have about, maybe 20, 25 minutes to really talk and expound on how does, and not just, yes, minority businesses gain access to capital. And we know that the platform is minority businesses, and what that means is companies who have been, certified as a minority business to do work with these major corporations or tier one suppliers. But, capital is needed for all businesses, whether it's minority, woman-owned, or government, or majority, or what have you. Capital is always needed. So how does a minority business, Alfred, gain access to capital? I mean, the things that you guys look for, in particular, when they're trying to, source capital, and let's say sourcing capital from your side of the fence, in the areas that you've actually played in for a long period of time. You guys have invested in businesses, the rockfishes and steel companies and everything else. So coming from your standpoint, what are the real things that you probably would look for a company to gain access to capital from your capital play?
So I'm going to say two things.
Okay.
And with all sincerity, is that that's the reason why I think that Penn has so much attractability to it, and what you have built and what you're collectively continuing to build, and the network of relationships that you're reaching out to, because this is not a problem which you have already recognized. This is not a problem that's just local to where we live. This is a national problem.
Absolutely.
That most and your game plan for in terms of expansion of Penn is collectively probably will do more to help more minority-owned companies that emerging companies in terms of size, in terms of assets, in terms of revenues, if you will, just in general, and that's the reason why the model will continue to work. After saying that, if you, again, don't have exposure to collectively, financial services firms that are out there, it makes it very difficult for you to collectively know where to go in order to get accessibility to capital. That's a broader base. That's a broader base.
Right, right.
The more narrow focus. The more narrow focus is the fact is that we have historically looked at anywhere between 1,000 to 800 to 1,000 deals on a annualized basis, and
that's a lot of deals.
That's
a lot of deals.
And the majority of companies that we've looked at over a period of time obviously do not look like us, because of the fact is that they don't know how to get into the pool of applicants and how to source a investment firm that ultimately, at the end of the day, I'll give you two examples.
Okay.
For example, let's just say that you're looking for just debt.
Okay.
You want someone collectively, at the end of the day, to loan you $1 million. The bank is not the appropriate source of that $1 million. Well, then the next step, and this is the exposure, and this is the education component of this, is that do I know how to go and source a company that's out there that they do nothing but, give investment in a debt platform. They charge X amount of dollars. What does that look like? How do I, go and source that?
Right.
That's where collectively, at the end of the day, we kind of fall off. Goes back to Penn again in terms of that accessibility. That makes a lot of sense. So that's the exposure piece. The second component of this is that, okay, I'm not really looking for debt. I want collectively someone to invest equity into my company. When I say equity, cash, and for that cash collectively, they will get a percentage of the company and they will own a percentage of the company. What does that look like?
Right.
It's certainly not the bank, because the bank is a place that you're going to get debt from, and that's it. So now, how do I source the companies that are out there that do private equity, equity, cash, and what does that look like? What do I need? Which goes back to your theme, is that what do I need, and how do I need to prepare my presentation to reflect the company, the history of the company, the cash of the company, the revenues of the company, what that looks like, the theme, the business model, and how do I put that together that will be reflective enough of what we do, that will be attractive enough for in this case, not a mezzanine fund, which is debt, but a private equity.
But expound on debt, Alfred, because I think for the listening public, a lot of companies, even though we have businesses, we don't understand debt. Yeah. We don't understand mezz. We don't understand venture. We don't most understand alternative financing, which used to be a term of factoring. Okay, alternative finance is factoring, that I'm going to give you money based off of your receivables that you're getting monthly or every 30, 60, 90, 120-day receivables. I'm going to factor, because I can't wait till you pay me for my services for 120 days. So I'm going to go get money early from a factoring company, which is alternative finance. A sexier word now, right? Alternative finance. But expound on what debt is.
So in our world, in mezzanine financing, which is just another alternative word, it's collectively just debt. Company and debt, and just go back to the fact is that if I go to the bank and I get $10,000 from the bank, that's debt. I have to pay that. I have to pay that back over a period of time. There are terms to the debt, if you will. Well, mezzanine financing is really the same thing with a higher interest rate than if you would go to a traditional bank. And the reason for that type of debt, mezzanine debt, is ultimately at the end of the day, most of the time, those companies that are giving you the cash, there is more of a risk profile for their capital, and that's the reason why you end up paying probably more for the capital.
Okay.
But it also gives you the ability to have more flexibility in the terms. It gives you the ability to take care of whatever your cash needs are, and then you could eventually, at the end of the day, turn that debt into a equity component if your funder at the end of the day what you're doing. So and usually how that happens is the fact is that you submit your plan, the history of your plan, the financials, the people, the skill sets, what sector you play in, your clients, if you will. The most significant thing that we were talking about just a second ago in terms of marketing, if you will. That ultimately, at the end of the day, is probably the most important thing and the most significant thing, and that's the reason why, I agree totally with, both of you guys from the standpoint of what you were saying, is the fact is that if that's not collectively in place, well, it's going to be tossed. On the table because of the fact is that it doesn't reflect, optically and otherwise, what a mezzanine / debt funder would expect to give you money. Anyway, and there's another component of that.
Right, and we want to make sure that, Alfred, we come back to that, after the break. We're here at KYND Radio with Alfred Jackson, Chiquita Tate, Rodney Woods, Penn Global News.
Hi, this is... In a world where the divorce rate is at an all-time high, we're here to offer you real-life relationship advice to help you navigate to and through your marriage.
Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for your Love Empowerment Hour with our new show,
Sitting with the Suttons, where we're all about strengthening our community by making marriage great again. Find us on Facebook at Tristan and Cece. Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for your Love Empowerment Hour, Sitting with the Suttons.
Sitting with the Suttons, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. on 1520 KYND.
With me, Zakia Larry of Zakia Larry Live, every Monday at 10 a.m. on KYND 1520 a.m.
We are so excited at KYND to have back the hit show, Do What I Say, featuring Dr. Polly Heil Neely. Doc, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're a holistic healthcare clinic. We do everything holistic at Abundant Health and Wellness Clinic, and that's located at 323 East Main Street in downtown Humble, Texas. Or you can call us 281-312-2860.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on KYND.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith, and I'm a certified spiritual life coach and motivational speaker. But more importantly, I am a wife and a mother. I am so excited to begin the next chapter of my journey, my new radio talk show, The Journey with Tiffany Smith, on KYND 1520 AM. That's right, tribe. You can tune in every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. starting July 24th. My new show will include conversations about manifesting your dreams, celebrity interviews, and also I've created some new tools to support you in changing your life. If you're ready to change your life, baby, you got to change your mind. Join the journey with Tiffany Smith, and let's talk about it.
The Powerful 1520.
I'm not gonna call you.
Welcome back to KYNT Radio 1520.
Seriously,
in Global News, Rodney Woods, Alfred Jackson, Chiquita Tate. Man, we're having some real good conversations around, what debt is and what equity is on the investment side of the house. Subject matter expert, Alfred Jackson, former NFL player who also transitioned into that investment world, which a lot of us still are just totally unfamiliar with. We just don't totally understand the investment world or the platform or the do's and don'ts that we need to have our processes in play from a marketing standpoint or a PR standpoint, webs and apps and, you're having your audit financials and your succession plan, your key man insurance, all those things that we've advocated and championed to be doing in Playbook Investors Network. Because those pieces are going to help you better, at least have an opportunity to gain access to capital. Right. So, Alfred, as you were expounding on the debt platform, let's talk a little bit more about the debt, because, like I say, I just think there's a huge void and a huge educational gap that need to be filled to understand what debt really is and what is equity. Because I truly think from us being on the ground with Toyota and a couple of corporations that we learned a lot of this from over the last 13 years, a lot of companies that we've interfaced with, especially minority businesses, they really didn't grow a business, or we didn't grow a business to actually sell the business. Unlike what you've seen over your years' experience as a subject matter expert and an owner of a firm, most companies come to you, they're looking for the equity play, also to exit that company at some point. So the debt and equity is a different play that's not totally understood by the business community.
So that is correct.
Oh, he said I'm correct? Oh, my God. I can't believe that.
I think he said that.
Jesse, I got one. He gave me a plug, so I'm correct.
I'm beginning to understand this crowd now. So I will tell you that out of the last 12 to 13, 14 years of all the firms that we have and companies that we have looked at and we have invested in over a period of time, their end goal was ultimately at the end of the day is to sell the company.
Right.
Is to sell the company and to make a profit, create a return for the investors and to pay the debt back to, in this case, us, if you will. That was part of the overall philosophical view. And I think, again, this is culturally something that we need to really challenge ourselves to some degree with what am I doing the business for, what does that look like, and what is my ultimate goal when I either retire and or I decide to have a succession plan, which again, Penn is right in the middle of the real game as it relates to that. Isn't that amazing?
Oh my God!
I'm
sitting here like
it's really amazing. Exactly.
I feel like I can tell Rhonda this all the time. We tease Jess about winking at everybody, right?
You're right.
So I feel like I got me and Rhonda Heights got a moment where we looking at each other like, and Jess is talking.
You're right.
And we're gonna wink like.
That's right.
Did Alfred just say that? Wink, wink.
He did. But from a serious standpoint, is the fact is that it's very much applicable to what pen is all about to some degree, which goes back to my point, is that if you're not thinking about selling your company or creating a return, well, then I think you should maybe rethink it, number one.
Right.
Number two is the fact is that...
so you are saying that most businesses should be thinking about the business, and when they have this business and grow this business, they should be looking to sell this business.
Well, you certainly should be looking at creating profitability in the company, and then how do you get that company to another level through either a merger, acquisition, or a sell? Because I think, and I go back on one or two of the statements that some of my sponsors and used to say to me, is that never fall in love with the stock.
Okay.
Never fall in love with the bond. That they're there for an instrument to be used for a period of time.
Right.
And then you should make a decision from the standpoint of the reason why you're exiting it. You've created a current return with in this case, the stock that met your expectation. And that's the reason why most, I should say, people who have been in the financial services industry as investors, if they buy Apple, for example, they have collectively somewhat of an idea of how much they want to run up in Apple before they come to a conclusion. I'm going to sell this and I'm going to move on to another investment because I have a benchmark here that collectively I met. Let me just take my capital, move on, and diversify it into something else. But the other piece of this is that, getting back to your point on the debt, is that if you go back and look at the growth model of all companies that are trying to grow, discounting what sector they may be in, what space they may be in to some degree, they all at some particular point in time need capital, or unless it's a spinoff of another large company, they all to some degree need capital and need debt. And debt is just simply you going to the bank and saying that I need $100,000 and I'm willing to pay that $100,000 back to you on these particular terms. And the only difference between a hybrid of that, which is MES, is the fact is that you probably have more of ability to structure documents that is a little bit more positive for you in terms of what the traditional debt financing may or may not look like from a bank's perspective. And the last piece I would expand upon is the fact is that of equity. And I will explain equity just in one or two terms.
Okay.
You have a company that you own 100% of, and that company is worth, let's just say $100,000, if you will. So your stock is nothing but the fact is that your equity to some degree in the company that you have to some degree. And when you sell it, let's just say you sell 15 or 20% of it, that's merely, and someone's willing to buy that from you, that's really equity. That's where you say, I'm going to buy 10% of this company and inject cash, and so I'm going to get shares or stocks, and you're gonna get cash. That's equity that you have collectively in the company.
You're gonna pretty much do a preferred or a common.
Yeah, I mean, and getting into those hybrids is the fact is that preferreds have different features to them that's different than the common, and preferred is only the fact is that it's just like what it says. I mean, you're preferred, and you come before the common stock that you have in the company, and that's what preferred is to some degree. Is just saying that you're above common stock, in the capital structure.
Okay.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. Hey. AJ putting it down today in the house, right?
I'm serious. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what that means. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you.
AJ's put it down in the house. So we're in KYND Radio. PN Global News at 1520, talking about, gaining access to capital, the do's and don'ts, and how do you actually get to that next level, understanding, your marketing platform, and understanding what type of capital that you need to seek out, because, everybody don't need the same capital.
That's right.
And that's so true, because in every industry, there are certain things you're looking for. Like Alfred had said, you looking for MES, or if you get the bank capital, there's a little variations there, you know, how you structure the agreement or the term of the agreement. Because, you know, bank money it might be sometimes less % on paying it back, but it might be a longer term. And mezz could be either sometimes a better situation. So we understand that. But we're here today with Alfred Jackson, Chiquita, Tate, 832-230-5592, KYND Radio. We're at Penn Global News. Be back in a moment.
Excited at KYND to have back the hit show Do What I Say featuring Dr. Polly Heil Neely. Doc, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're a holistic healthcare clinic. We do everything holistic at Abundant Health and Wellness Clinic, and that's located at 323 East Main Street in downtown Humble, Texas. Or you can call us 281-312-2860.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on KYND.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith, and I'm a certified spiritual life coach and motivational speaker. But more importantly, I am a wife and a mother. I am so excited to begin the next chapter of my journey, my new radio talk show, The Journey with Tiffany Smith, on KYND 1520 AM. That's right, tribe. You can tune in every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. starting July 24th. My new show will include conversations about manifesting your dreams, celebrity interviews, and also I've created some new tools to support you in changing your life. If you're ready to change your life, baby, you got to change your mind. Join the journey with Tiffany Smith, and let's talk about it.
Actress, radio host, and mother. Please welcome to Money Making Conversations, the incredible Yolanda Adams. Come on out here, girl. Let's talk about the KYND radio launch and all that.
Yes,
Let's talk about it.
Radio launch next week, July 6th. We are on live. Myself.
Come on now.
Marcus D. Wiley and AV. We are back together. Full force. We are so excited. Can I tell you how excited we are about being at KYND? I mean, look at y'all. Look at y'all.
Yeah.
This right here is like amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Nicole R. Coleman, host of the news show Super Bold Live. Each week, I will feature real people just like you that have stepped out on faith, overcome fear, and made bold moves that transform their lives. We are creating a community of game changers. Listen in each week and let's help you unleash the power within. Bold talk, bold impact, bold transformation. Be sure to connect with me at www.livesuperbold.com.
Super Bowl Live with Nicole R. Coleman. Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. on 1520 KYND.
In a world where the divorce rate is at an all-time high, we're here to offer you real-life relationship advice to help you navigate to and through your marriage.
Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for your Love Empowerment Hour with our new show,
Sitting with the Suttons, where we're all about strengthening our community by making marriage great again. Find us on Facebook at Tristan and Cece. Whether you're single or married, join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for your Love Empowerment Hour, Sitting with the Suttons.
Sitting with the Suttons. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. on 1520 KYND.
With me, Zakia Larry of Zakia Larry Live, every Monday at 10 a.m. on KYND 1520 AM.
We are so excited at KYND to have back the hit show, Do What I Say, featuring Dr. Polly Heil Neely. Doc, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're a holistic healthcare clinic. We do everything holistic at Abundant Health and Wellness Clinic, and that's located at 323 East Main Street in downtown Humble, Texas. Or you can call us 281-312-2860.
Tune in every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on KYND.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Smith, and I'm a certified...
Welcome back to KYND Radio 1520 Penn Global News 832-230-5592. The last segment of our show with Alfred Jackson, Chiquita Tate. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you guys here in the studio today, just really expounding on, the marketing, your plan and how you get to the next level and the investment platform, understanding, how businesses gain access to capital, whether it be debt, whether it be equity, whether it be alternative financing. And, speaking with, a person in Alfred Jackson who's been there, done it, had, his ups and downs and, his share of personalities he's dealt with over the years with many businesses that wanted to do different things. And, you had to tell them, hey, you got to do it this way in order to get this capital, right? Because you need this capital. And we're going to tell you here at Rockfish, we want you to do blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. That happens. Mm-hmm. And a lot of companies, they don't really want you to tell them how to do it, but you need this capital. Mm-hmm. So, we have to be mindful of that you need the capital. You got to be compliant in the things that an investor or investors asked you to do.
That's the reason why they call it a playbook.
Boy, I don't even know what's going on here with Alfred Jackson today.
That's the reason why they call it. That's the reason why they call it a playbook. I mean, seriously, there's.
You got to have a play, right?
Well, you have to understand how to structure collectively your financials that reflect what you're trying to get.
Right.
And you have to be able to articulate collectively why it's structured on a balance sheet as it is, or what does that look like, and give the potential investor the opportunity to do a full assessment of not only the industry and the sector that you're trying to grow,
right,
but financially, if ultimately at the end of the day they decide to make an investment, debt or equity, into the company, are they going to get their return back, and is this a value proposition from a broader based standpoint that has scalability to it?
Right. You have to. This capital is for you to scale the business. Yeah. Now let's don't make any bones about this one. You get this money, you got to scale the business. Mm-hmm. And I think every investor who gives a person money, whether it be emotionally or personally or what have you, I'm giving you this money, Keita. I'm giving this money, Alfred, to scale your business. You got to grow this business because I want my return.
Oh, of course.
But I would, and the last thing, and maybe the most value add, from my perspective,
mm-hmm.
to the conversation that we've had to some degree is that there are literally websites and books and all type of information from the standpoint of where you can go to source capital.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What that capital looks like. And I would tell everyone, and again, we're all here at this table
mm-hmm.
in continued education from the standpoint of collectively, how do we continue to do what we're doing to some degree.
Right.
And so it's not, I don't think it's not it's not something that we should feel, different about. The fact is that we're going to learn more about, the markets and the sources of capital, if you will. And I would say, my biggest advice would be is to go and source, sites and other booklets, if you will, and you would be surprised, how much exposure you would get and some of the questions that you wanted answered, you would get that answered, and you would be better prepared when you ended up coming in and seeing whomever you're talking to about capital.
And that's the one thing that I pride ourselves on. Keita, this, that when we built Playbook Investors Network, you're right. Alfred is absolutely right. And it's not about us. Right. You know, there's all type of sources out there resources out there that you can go and read, or you can Google, you know, you can find books. But the one thing we understood as an entrepreneur and as a business, you don't always have that kind of time to do a lot of those things. So we tried to compile everything under one umbrella. So if you didn't understand alternative finance, or you didn't understand what debt was, or you didn't understand what equity ownership in your company, if you get capital from, you know, a private equity group, we tried to put video pieces of every subject matter expert, just like yourself, Alfred, to expound on what this really means. Because I know if you're in that system, you can click on that button and see, what does business plan mean? Right. Why do I need a PPM for Alfred's business? Because you may also not want to see a business plan. You want to see a private placement memorandum. So a lot of companies didn't know what that meant. So we tried to do everything we could to put everything under one ecosystem, one umbrella, so that way it's right here at your fingertips. You don't understand what debt means? Clicking on it, you'll see Alfred Jackson. How about that one?
Yeah, I like
right. Right. You see Alfred Jackson holding a football. He's done with football, right? But, you know, we wanted to make sure that we built an ecosystem that would be beneficial to everybody. And nobody would feel like, you know, they couldn't, you know, ask the question. You know, because we know this too, Alfred, and from all of our peers, you know, all the athletes we have, from T-Mac to AD and Damon and Doc and yourself, Alfred, and others, you know, we don't always know the questions to ask. And then there's always a fear factor because, you know, you've made a lot of money, you know, you really afraid, like, I really don't know what the S&P mean, right? And it's true, right. You know, so we want to make sure it's friendly, a very friendly environment. Go ahead, Alfred. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I was just agreeing with everything that you
again.
Said, again.
Boy, listen. Hey, by the way, I'll make sure I give a shout out to Carl Dorville back in Dallas. He just tell you hello.
Shout out to Carl. You know, but what I look, if you and Carl will know this, and obviously everyone at this table will know this.
He's a smart kid, right? Carl, he said, well.
No, he is.
My God.
But look, when you see people who have made money in different areas, different sectors, different professions to some degree, by and large, most of them that are sophisticated investors to some degree, they're going to go and hire their financial advisor or go and find someone to help them manage their assets, and they're not going to be a subject expertise to some degree on some of the so it shouldn't be something that you should feel bad about one way or another. It's just something that collectively at the end of the day that most people have, and they do, and they go get the information that they need in order to make a informed decision.
Right. You know, I tell you, and see, Alfred, this is so much we got to get back, because we got to definitely have, Alfred Jackson back on, because, even though you got a fiduciary responsibility of that athlete or entertainer's money, which we're going to dive into it, at a later date, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a good firm.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of athletes lose a lot of money, that, but knowing that we are running out of time, and I don't want to go over our time, but I want to thank all the listeners out there listening to KYND Radio, PN Global News at KYND 1520. Alfred Jackson, thank you so much for your time and your presence here. Chiquita, thank you for your time and coming down from Dallas to join us on PN Global News. I'm Rodney Woods at PN Global News. Alfred Jackson and Chiquita Tate, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful week.
The views and opinions expressed on KYND 1520 talk programs are those of the host, guest, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its owners, management, other hosts, or advertisers. Show topics on this station may include conversations on any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practices. KYND, a Synergy Broadcasting Company. KYND.